hard to bring down the people who feel it. Lemon is going to be a very good pro. Now, the thing is, this draft pick, along with the acquisition of one safety and lift and three attackers, all the confirms that AJ Brown is as good as Goff. But I don't really think that's a bad thing. They just replaced him with next 5 years. But it also makes some numbers, which widens their Super Bowl window. This was a phenomenal hit by Philly. I should not believe that the Kyle Lemon fell all the way down to the 20. Philly trading one for the Kyle Lemon also makes the Pittsburgh Steelers massive moves. The Steelers drafted 21st this year, and they were really up with the Kyle Lemon when the Eagles traded up and stole it from their draft. The Steelers, hosting the draft, had an insane intro to their pick, and at the end they ended up selecting offensive tackle, which felt like a bit of a reach. Now, imagine that intro followed by Pittsburgh selecting the Kyle Lemon, one of the best wide receivers in the draft, who was sliding down to their grasp. The crowd would have gone nuts. Just insane. The only guys that love having the same with him. And then Pittsburgh being the one about Philly is quite literally stealing the draft pick. That is so funny to me. And it's even funnier that Pittsburgh shows someone who is significantly lower on the pick board than Kyle Lemon is.
Your Steelers get on the phone with Kyle Lemon, planning to select him next. They said what they didn't know is the Eagles had actually traded up over them, thinking to touch with Lemon, but he wasn't answering because he was already on the phone with the Steelers.
Lemon also confirms that there are a couple of winners whose types that don't do right now. AJ Brown and the New England Patriots. It's basically a guarantee that AJ Brown is going to become a Patriot after June 1st. And I think that that's easily the best case scenario for both sides. AJ Brown gets a fresh start with an MVP candidate quarterback as the clear wide receiver 1. And the Patriots have a surefire wide receiver 1 to a team that just won the Super Bowl with a 23-year-old candidate quarterback. This is the best situation possible for New England to go out and try to beat these as AFC champions. And once June 1st hits and AJ Brown is officially a Patriot, we'll be hearing a lot of buzz surrounding that.
That
leads me to my last speaker, Mike Vrabel. And I can't include Mike Vrabel in this video because that update was absolutely insane. You didn't see more photos of surface of Diana receiving Mike Vrabel at a bar in 2020. They were holding hands, it looked like they were kissing. I have a separate video of that. I'm leaving in the extra. I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our money. Until our next upload.
But long shut up heads, they say they'll pacifiers to agree. Hear that, baby? On just right.
There may be a draft trade ruin. Or trading for. Is this too much to pay for a player of this work? At the end of the day, I think they get their guy. Everybody's all excited.
Everybody loves a draft trade out of nowhere. Just how much are teams willing to give up to get their guy? From the biggest steals to the most disappointing reaches, these are the best and worst draft trade-ups in recent memory. Let's send it back to 2017.
Well, we have our first trade tonight. It's the Bears moving up one spot.
With the second pick, the Chicago Bears select Mr. Trubisky. To move up and give up that draft shot for this year before next year, Mr. Trubisky continues to take risks.
Chicago took no chances by moving up one spot to get their guy, but it would eventually be a night to forget for Bears fans. Trubisky never took off as a franchise quarterback. Meanwhile, San Francisco used a pick from that trade to draft future All-Pro linebacker Fred Warner in 2018. And to make matters worse, there was a gem still on the board 8 spots after Trubisky.
The Kansas City Chiefs no longer have a first-round pick in next year's draft. They just traded it to move up 17 spots. Deshaun Watson versus Pat Mahomes combination with one more license. Mahomes has so much upside, it's a perfect position for either quarterback to stay on. The Kansas City Chiefs select Patrick Mahomes, the second.
That's the quarterback of the future that they're putting the eggs in a Mahomes basket.
The Chiefs trading up 17 spots was bold. Absolutely worth it. After his 5 seasons as a starter, Patrick Mahomes is on his way to becoming one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Both teams benefited as Buffalo came away with a key piece in future All-Pro cornerback quarterback Tre'Davious White. Stay tuned for what the Bills pulled off a year later. It's the draft trade of all draft trades. Coming off a 15-1 Super Bowl season in 1984, Bill Walsh and the 49ers not only got better, they got the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game.
They traded up. They'll be selecting number 16. They traded 1, 2, and 3 with 1 and 3 for New England, so they're going to follow those selections. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
San Francisco shot first and third round picks with New England and also gave up their second round pick to grab Rice at number 16. The Pats whiffed and got very little on-field return, with all 3 picks moving on to different teams pretty quickly. Rice went on to win 3 Super Bowls with the Niners and retired as the NFL's all-time touchdown leader among dozens of other records.
With its choice obtained by trade from Atlanta, Indianapolis selects Jeff George, quarterback from Illinois.
The Colts thought rocket-armed quarterback Jeff George would be their savior back in 1990. Indy gift wrapped a collection of players and picks to the Falcons to trade up to the number 1 spot. Get this, then 6-time Pro Bowl left tackle Chris King, 23-year-old fighting star receiver Andre Rison, a 5th-round pick in 1990, and a 1st-round pick in 1991. All